Room service.
Welcome to Between the Frames. Really nice to see you. This episode is brought to you by these lovely Patreon backers. Look at them. Aren't they just a wonderful, lovely bunch of people? Big thanks to everybody here for backing me on Patreon. As you know, and as I've said before, and I'll continue to say, I greatly appreciate it. Been a lot of things going on in the collectibles world lately with, action figures and this kind of hobby. You got guys out here making like tier list ranking videos on like YouTube people. You got a different guy out there basically proving time and again that he's a terrible human being with no redeemable qualities. And then you got me. I'm just kind of doing my thing. That doesn't mean I've been lazy. I've been doing some animation projects and a few different things not animation related, so I've been keeping busy. Speaking of animation, I do want to thank everybody who tuned into the Rock and Hulk Hogan Super Tiger video. That was a lot of fun putting all that together. Hopefully, if you watched it, you enjoyed it. If you didn't catch it, shame on you, but just kidding. If you didn't, I'm going to leave a link in the description below, so if you want to check it out, by all means, feel free. And if you're over there, hit the thumbs up and share it and whatever you want. Like I said, I'm very happy with it, and I think it's probably the best wrestling video that I've ever done, so, take that for whatever it's worth. Performance-wise, it was doing pretty well at first, and then it hit a wall. That's not anybody's fault, that's just kind of the reality of YouTube right now. If I can go back to the Patreon for a second, one of the most recent JWF Revisited episodes I did, I kind of talked about that. Basically what I said was something to the effect of like, YouTube is different than it was like 10 years ago or more, whenever like those early JWF videos were going up. At that time there were a lot of people doing the animation, and particularly the wrestling animation was a much bigger community, and people on YouTube were looking for that kind of content more than they are now. I think now it's tough to get noticed on YouTube unless you're doing like 30, 40, sometimes 60-minute or like several hour like video essays or things like that, which, I mean, when you're a guy doing art projects basically like I'm doing, it's maybe not what the people are after anymore. It is what it is. I'm not mad about it. It's just how the platform has evolved. On Instagram, when I was posting those Super Tiger clips, they were getting more engagement than the final product did on YouTube. I can't be mad at it. It's just, the way that people consume their content has evolved. I will say though, that's going to make it difficult to replace my bootleg plaque with a real one, because, I need people to subscribe to my channel if I'm going to do that. So I guess I'm going to stick with a bootleg for a little while longer. I have also made the statement that any income I get from the Patreon, I'm going to try and put back into the channel in some way, which that has actually helped me already. I've gotten like some new equipment, and I don't want to jump the gun too much because I do get into it a little bit in this episode, but I got a new program, and just stuff that's going to help me make better quality videos. But I guess ultimately that's what it is. I'm creating these videos, so I want the best tools possible to do that and to pursue this hobby and just enjoy it and be able to, give anybody who decides to watch it the best product I can. Because it is important to always have the correct tools for any job you're doing. Whatever it is you're doing, you need the right equipment. I've learned that the hard way. So here I am at the warehouse, outside the warehouse, and somehow the floor cleaner got stuck in the grass outside the warehouse. So that's interesting. So we decided, by we I mean somebody else decided, that we're going to bring the sit-down forklift out and tow this out of the grass. But the forklift got stuck in the grass. So now this guy's going to get his truck so that we can get both of these machines off the grass and back inside, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I do here. Why do I do any of this? Well, first one's out. It's a little bit of damage, but not too bad. See about this one next. So yeah, his truck isn't going to be able to pull that. That's a forklift. That's heavy. So I guess I'm going in to get another forklift to try and use this forklift to get the first forklift out of the grass. just not gonna work. This is not gonna work. Why do they? I don't deserve this. Maybe I do. Well, it's like an hour later, and I guess they have to call a tow truck. Because, I'm taking off. Take it from me, you need the correct tools for the job. So without getting too far ahead of myself, let's dive in, let's get this episode rolling. Lovely weather we're having this weekend. So I'm staying indoors. This is what we're trying to do here today. So I have here the Marvel Legends Magneto. This is the one from the 3-pack with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. So I've shown this before as well. I also, I took the head off the Toy Biz Marvel Legends Magneto. The first one they did, I think Series 3, because that has the removable helmet. And I basically had to hollow out the inside of the head and like make it so it fit on the peg. But I like the way this looks. I always liked this head sculpt for some reason, and this is one of the few times I should say, where like the removable helmet doesn't look like oversized. I don't know. At this scale, it's hard to do stuff like that. But the red on the helmet actually isn't too far off from the red of the figure, which is nice. But Hasbro has always kind of done these plastic capes. Now, I went ahead and I got one from GPS Lot. This is a wired Magneto cape, similar to the one I got from my Revoltech figure, which turned that figure from like one of my least favorite Revoltech X-Men into one of my most favorite, or I guess just one of my favorite. This is probably how that should be said. But yeah, I'm probably going to end up having to cut this plastic cape. Like, I'll leave this collar thing, obviously, because that's a part of his costume. But I'll basically end up with just the collar, and I'll have to put the cape underneath it and put the collar on back over it. May have to end up like gluing it. I'm not 100% sure how this is going to work, so I guess let's find out. So here's how it looks on the figure. This is all wired and stuff too, so like obviously where it's kind of like bunched up and jumbled, you're going to be able to like manipulate the wires and make it look a little more natural. What's cool is that there's a hole in the back of the cape, which I don't know if I'll be able to line it up correctly here. Maybe you can kind of see it, but there's also a hole in the back of the figure where like that collar piece and the plastic cape like plugs into. So I'm thinking if I just leave that piece on, it'll kind of fasten this in place. So that'll be cool. Alright, so I ended up cutting basically this whole thing off of the plastic cape. And I tried to get as close to the collar piece as I could. There's like a little, well, I don't want to call it discoloration. It's basically just not the purple pearlescent kind of paint that they used on the outside. So I may have to touch that up at some point. But I also ended up having to leave a little piece of the cape here. I tried to shave it down as much as possible. I'll probably try and tighten that up even more. But basically the reason being is because that's where the peg is and that's where it's plugged into the back of the figure. And I'll probably do like a quick drop of like hot glue or something right here in the center of his chest and push this little like tab thing onto there with the glue. So that way like this holds the cape firmly in place. But otherwise, I'm thinking this is pretty good. And there we go. The final product. I like it. I was able to cut down a little bit more of like that back piece there, so it's basically just a little bit underneath the back of his collar that it almost kind of looks like the front part actually, because it's got that little tab thing hanging down, but that's where the tab is to go into his back. And when I put it into his back, I actually put a little bit of glue on it so it's going to hold in place, as well as I glued that front little whatever you call this piece here, I glued that to like the figure's chest. So the cape is pretty secure in here, and this thing isn't going to like start falling all over the place like the collar, which I don't know, I think is a big improvement. Overall, you can see the cape itself being posable is actually much nicer. And the cool thing about this that I didn't even think about, but the plastic cape used to like weigh the figure down, so like he'd be like falling over constantly because of it weighed so much. But this is actually a much lighter cape, obviously, because it's not like a heavy plastic. So he can hold his pose a little bit better if you have him like just standing up. And you know, you can actually flare the cape out and like beside him or in front of him or whatever, and he can still be stood there and it just looks like the cape is blowing. So overall, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with this. It's wild to me that no company has made like a perfect Magneto figure yet. He's like such an iconic character, and I don't know, it seems like every company that takes a shot at him misses something. Now, I know we do have the Mafex one coming out pretty soon, which I have pre-ordered. I say pretty soon, it's probably like a year off. Will that be perfect? I don't know. It'll probably be good, but I'm happy with this for now. If Mafex comes and it's great, then I'll be happy with that too. And if it's terrible, which I can't imagine it would be, but if it is, then at least I still have this. Now I got him back there. He's at home in Utopia. This X-Men team, there's some characters missing obviously, but it's cool to have at least some representation for this team. This is way too bright, isn't it? Okay, that's better. Yeah, I actually got these lights from Five Below. I got another one right here. But yeah, it's pretty good. Got nice and bright. You can basically mount it with mount it with nails, or I think they said it's magnets. I just used just threw it on the floor. I just use these. These are like the Velcro pieces that you stick to the back, and then you can stick the other side to, you know, either the side of a shelf or the top, which is what I've done here. And overall, I think that makes kind of a cool little presentation. Makes me kind of want to build a better diorama for this shelf, for this team, instead of just these random rock pieces. And it also makes me wish that they would just repaint that X-Force Wolverine in this costume, because the one that's coming out with the hot claws is in like a bright neon yellow costume, and he's got the stupid claws, and I don't know. I really want to like that figure a lot, and I don't think I'm going to. But yeah, overall, nice looking team. So you can see that things are particularly clean here in Apartment 9. Most of this, I will say, is actually Mountain Man's. He got a brand new tabletop game called Oathsworn, and he went all in on the whole Kickstarter thing, so there's a lot to it, as you can see. We've been playing though, it's fun. Like, there's a lot going on. I'm pretty sure we're cheating just because we don't understand the rules, and you know, we're moving through it. The mess isn't all Mountain Man's though. Like, I got this Goliath just today from Walmart actually, and all the rest of these NECA figures, yeah, quite a stack here. These, everything except Goliath, is actually from the fine folks over at NECA. So you may recall I've been doing some of the music for their animated ads that DGDX has been like doing the stop motion for, as well as like some of the other live action stuff that you've seen on their social media. So like one of the initial stipulations, I guess, for getting involved was like, obviously I get paid to make the music, but DGDX was telling me, you know, you might get some figures in your hands too. So when initially I was in touch with Randy, he was like, yeah, you know, what can we do for you as far as like samples go? And I was just like, well, I have no Gargoyles and I have no Universal Monsters. And so I took that to mean like, you know, I might get one or two figures and that'd be cool. But, you know, a couple weeks ago, this giant box shows up and it had just all these. You get 3 of the Gargoyle figures and 4 of the monsters. I got 2 of the Frankenstein, one's the black and white one, and then the Wolfman and the Mummy. And these all look great. I grew up with the Universal Monster movies because my dad and my uncle and, you know, my grandfather before them, they were all big fans. So I had seen a bunch of these movies, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman being a particular favorite. And Gargoyles, obviously, you know, I was a kid in the 90s, so I watched some Gargoyles. Although I couldn't tell you what Theolog is from. I guess he's just Bad Goliath. I don't remember him. But yeah, I mean, big shout out to the fine people over at NECA. They've been really cool to me and really, really good to me as far as like providing stuff like this. And, you know, more importantly, paying me. So I can't be mad at any of it. So yeah, I'm very gracious, very grateful to, you know, be included in stuff like this. What I'm not grateful for is the amount of space that I have to display them. That is to say, none at the moment. So I'll figure all that out. That new Mezco 1/12 Wolverine. I don't know. I mean, I can say a lot of positive things about the figure. In fact, let's do that right now. So there you see the figure. As you can see, like, I mean, it's really nice looking. The colors really pop. The comic book accurate costume looks really, really nice. The head sculpt, hopefully you'll be able to see it if I can focus it. There we go. And you know, he's got a separate piece for the mask to go kind of like behind his back. And he comes with this awesome Sentinel base, which actually has some lights and stuff. So if you press this red button here, yeah, come on, that's awesome. But then, you know, after that 5-minute dopamine hit I got of my new figure, I was like, great, cool. What am I gonna do with them? Because I don't really do anything with my Mesco figures. I only have like, I have a few, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't do anything with any of them. I was like, I can get Magneto out, and he's the only other like X-Men themed Mesco figure I have, and I could kind of set the two of them up together. But I would need to like build up a better display, I guess. I don't know, because right now there's just nothing happening here. But then the bigger question I had was like, alright, why did I buy this Wolverine knowing full well that I don't do anything with my Mezco figures and that he's probably just going to go back in the box and sit in the closet? And to answer my own question, I don't know. And like I said, you know, this is a very nice figure. I can definitely see why people like it as much as they do. I really like it, so I hope people don't take this as me saying like that it's a bad figure or that I think it's trash or anything, because I don't. But I also know that I basically just bought it out of FOMO, and now that I got it like a year later or whatever after the pre-order, I'm like, I don't know, man. What am I gonna do with this? I think I'm too afraid to like try and do any kind of dynamic animation with it, because like I think I'm just afraid the costume is gonna like stretch out and get all like bent out of shape and everything, and yeah, I don't know, man. Like you can see, it comes with like all the different heads and hands and a bunch of slash effects, even like an extra belt, some other stuff here and there. Like the whole presentation of it, like, you know, it would be stupid of me to say anything other than this is a gorgeous figure. Even got like the first appearance masks, and like they're all beautifully sculpted and very well done. But again, I think I just bought this because FOMO. So the moral of the story, don't be like me. Don't just buy stuff because you think you're gonna miss out, especially knowing full well that once it shows up you're gonna be like, great, now what? It's not like, you know, other figures I have that I display, even though I don't necessarily animate with them, like, they're all on display constantly, so I can still appreciate them for that reason. But, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't ever know what I'm doing. Been doing some more animating lately. Got back on the Mortal Kombat project that I started a little while back. I may have mentioned this on the channel, I can't remember specifically, but basically this one is going to focus on Reptile. The whole thing is basically going to build up to Reptile kind of, I don't know, redeeming himself, let's say, because let's face it, he's been kind of a jobber for the past several years and several games worth of Mortal Kombat, so yeah, I kind of want to just show him some respect. But yeah, I'll have more to speak about with that project pretty soon, hopefully. But I did a couple dioramas that are kind of meant to fit in my little shelf there, and I wanted to show them off. I think they turned out pretty good. I got this Ninja Turtles sewer diorama, which is very similar to that one that I made down there. So I made this one a while back that you can kind of see. It's like a little dark down there right now, but that's more cartoon based. This one I wanted to have be like a little bit more realistic, so I kind of like weathered everything a little more. I made it like grimier looking, and like I just got like dirty water all over the floor and like brick kind of pieces that are, you know, you can just pretty much put them anywhere. I got kind of like a wooden door, which is just strips of foam that I cut really, really thin. It really like cut each of the strips in such a jagged way that it kind of looks like just old, you know, really decrepit, rotten wood. So once you painted it up and put like the green like slime on it, I think it looks great. And then on this side, that's just like a, I don't know, like a fuse box or whatever. That's one of those twist ties that just holds a figure in the package, and you know, just like a little sign printed out. This thing here is actually, it's from that Batman v Superman Mattel Batcave. I repainted it and just added it on here. I think it looks cool here. So yeah, I've gotten some use out of some of those like parts for repurposing them. You may remember I used like some of the cage pieces for Goro's lair, and I believe I used something else somewhere. Can't remember off the top of my head, but I think this looks cool here. And then obviously the back is just kind of like the tunnel that leads into and out of this. I've also got this piece, which is just a wall and like a section of floor. Again, tried to paint it really grimy looking. I put like a bunch of rust on the pipes and, you know, some green like basically like old stagnant water on the floor, and just like, you know, really wanted to make this look gross. So basically this wall piece goes behind the diorama, so you give it a little more depth, and it just, you know, makes it look like it's a sewer and not like a portal into the unknown. So that's how we're looking with the other piece back there. And you can see there's a little bit of floor space there, so you can actually like stick figures in there and have them like going into and out of this section. So I really like how this came out, and it fits perfectly into my shelf that I got, you know, my opening for right here, which is where I put it, so that's good. I also put this one together, and I really like how this one came out. This is just basically like a sidewalk diorama, little fence. Again, try to make it a little bit more grimy looking with like spills of whatever on the street, and just textured, kind of beat up sidewalk. Bunch of kind of like old 80s signs all over the wooden fence. And again, same thing like with the door on that sewer. You know, I cut the I cut the foam really thin, and it kind of made like jagged little parts all over it to make it look like a wooden fence. And obviously like I cut chunks out and boards broken and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I really like how this turned out. I think this is awesome. So I basically made this to showcase the Super 7 Bebop and Rocksteady, so I'll get them in here right now. So here they are on the diorama, and because of the aesthetic of these figures, looking like old school Playmates, kind of 80s figures, with like the 80s backdrop there, I think this really works. I am very happy with how this turned out. But I'm not done yet. Now we're talking. Got the whole thing brought together. Sometimes all it takes is a couple props to really make a diorama piece pop. So I got, in addition to all like the posters and everything, obviously the beer ads and cigarette ads and stuff that were, you know, prominent for their time, but you wouldn't see any of them today. I also got like an old newspaper that you just kind of like put wherever you want. And then I got this fire hydrant with like all the stickers and stuff on it, and this mailbox again with the stickers and stuff on it. Now these are props from a guy called Go Figure Go, who I met at Toys and Action Con back in June, and he was a cool dude. He's a great follow on Instagram. I suggest you follow him. He does a lot of these 3D prints and stuff, and he was very, very generous. He actually gave me both of these, so I knew as soon as I got them, I was like, man, I gotta do something cool with these, and I think I pulled it off, because I really like how they look in this set. And overall, this whole thing came together very nice. So yeah, like I said, Go Figure Go. Those are his props. He does like live streams on his YouTube channel on Wednesday nights too. Those are always cool to drop in, have fun, and just kind of like play a few audience interaction games and stuff with whoever happens to be in the chat. So it's a good time, and it's a good diorama, if I say so myself. So that's how those look on that shelf down there. I gotta say, I'm very happy with it. I put the movie Turtles and Splinter in the sewer. I think they look great in there. And obviously, you know, Bebop and Rocksteady on that one. And yeah, it just helps the overall shelf just pop. Like, I got a bunch of the NECA turtle stuff down there from the cartoon that really just kind of sits there. I would like to do something a little cooler with it, like I got kind of over here on my main TMNT shelf. But, you know, one thing at a time. I like how this turned out, so maybe I'll do something with them next. We'll see. So a while back, I shot some test footage with this burning Godzilla. You may recall this was the one I used in Godzilla Aftermath for the last part of that project. But I wanted to try and do some new things with it, with like some different effects and stuff. So basically, as I mentioned previously on the channel and like on my Patreon and stuff, that any kind of income I get from the Patreon, I'm going to try and put back into the channel in some way. So the other day, I decided to get After Effects and start playing with it. And so far, I've only done like a couple little things here and there, but I was trying some different things with this Godzilla with some of the footage that I shot, and I think it came out pretty cool. Like the burning effects in particular, I really tried to like illuminate a little bit and just try and make, I don't know, just something that stood out and looked really nice. I guess I'll let you be the judge. So yeah, that was like after playing with After Effects for like a day or two. There's still plenty of stuff that I have to learn. I don't know really what I'm doing at all yet, but you know, it's just something that I look forward to exploring a little more. Couple new wrestling figures, the Ultimate Editions. This is the Amazon Triple H and Shawn Michaels figures. Triple H, I think, is like a 2006 or 7 DX figure. And Shawn Michaels is like a 95, I think, figure. Really good. I haven't been able to put these guys down. I've been messing with them a lot. Like I said, you know, about The Rock and John Cena, the body types on these just make it so fun to just like pose them around and mess with them. Like the butterfly joints and everything, they give you so much extra posability. Plus, you know, the improved engineering and articulation and stuff compared to even like the earlier Ultimate Editions is really nice. That said, I do prefer the look of the first Triple H over this one, as far as like the gear goes and like the head sculpt and everything, but I mean, that's just like on a minor nitpick. And if I'm not mistaken, you could probably just fit the old heads on this body if you really wanted to. So, you know, I haven't tried it yet, but something to consider. And then Shawn, he's a little bit bulkier than the previous Ultimate Edition Shawn, so I like the size on the first one better,
but the articulation on this one, there's no comparison. And the head sculpts, I think, are actually much nicer on this one too. Something about the paint, because I think they're the same face sculpts, they're just painted much better this time around. But yeah, the colors pop on him. He just looks really good. These guys would both be a lot of fun to animate, so if I ever get back around to like some wrestling animation, may do that. Sean's got like his entrance gear too, so he's got like the chaps and the vest, and he's actually got removable earrings on both of his heads and like the hat. Triple H has like his DX shirt and, you know, a few different head sculpts and stuff too. So yeah, really nice figures. So there's Sean with the entrance gear and everything on. You could plug the earrings into his ears and everything. Like, this is really cool. I definitely like this a lot. This is getting a lot of accolades for being just like one of the best Ultimate figures so far in the line, and I can see why. In another edition of Why Do I Do the Things I Do, a little background history for you. That Triple H figure I actually ordered like a year ago from Amazon, or close to a year ago, I want to say, and it finally just showed up like within the last month. And so I didn't want to take the same chance with Shawn Michaels, so I ordered my initial one off of Amazon US, and then because I was like not sure when the shipping window was going to hit, I ordered a second one off of Amazon US, and then I heard people were getting theirs from Amazon UK, so I ordered one from Amazon UK, and long story short, they all showed up on the exact same day. So I don't know why I do these things to myself. This is stupid. I can acknowledge that it's stupid, and it's probably not the last time I'm going to do it. So now I got one to rock, one to stock, and maybe I'll do a giveaway for the third one. I don't know. If I do a giveaway for one of these Shawn Michaels figures, leave a comment telling me like what kind of contest or what kind of stipulation should I put on a giveaway for this. Last but not least, in from Big Bad Toy Store, got Jet Jaguar from Godzilla Singular Point, the anime series from last year. And, you know, while I much would have preferred a classic Jet Jaguar from Godzilla vs. Megalon, this is very, very nice. It is a little more on the fragile side compared to like other Monster Arts figures, because a lot of them are very bulky. But as you can see, Jet Jaguar is like very slim, and, you know, like particularly things like the hips and kind of the arms and everything, there is not a ton of plastic to like support his weight, especially when you consider that his spear thing is actually like a very solid piece of plastic. So I don't want to have him like holding it. I'd rather have him just kind of like leaning on it, because I'm afraid to like stress the elbow joint if I try and have him like holding it in any real way where it's not like supported by the ground. I mean, you'll still get all the articulation you would want out of this figure. It's just kind of engineered a little differently because of the way Jet Jaguar looked in that series. But yeah, he comes with some cool stuff, I'll give him that. He does have like a small stand, but I don't know about that stand, because it basically only like really kind of elevates him like half an inch up off the ground. I'm going to try some different stands and see what I think. Alright, now we're talking. So he's got one peg hole basically like right at the base of like his butt, pretty much, which maybe makes things awkward to those of us who are immature like me. But honestly, this, I believe this is one of the regular SH Figuarts stands that just plugs right in, and that works pretty well. Now, I do have like third-party stands that do not fit. They're slightly too big to fit, but yeah, this works. And there's also, once I get the backpack propeller thing out, there's also like a peg hole on that too, so let's see what that looks like. Alright, so now this is tight. I like this. I would not leave him on there like that, because this stand is, you know, it's not the strongest thing in the world, and this big jetpack thing is actually pretty heavy. Even though SH Monster Arts and Figure Arts use like lighter, more lightweight plastics, this is still, I mean, I think this is a lot for that stand, so I wouldn't leave him like that. But man, I like this. See, Jet Jaguar, I wanted a classic Jet Jaguar, as I've said, so I'm hoping that we get a Figure Arts of that, or like maybe Super 7 in their Toho line makes a Jet Jaguar. I just want that classic one in my collection somewhere, and it has to be like a posable figure too. I don't want to just go buy like the Playmates one or something. But as a little stand-in, and well, not even a stand-in, as just a different version of Jet Jaguar, this is really nice. So I originally was kind of on the fence about this figure, but I'm glad I bought it. It's cool.
Well, we're back here in front of the lights, which means this episode is coming to a close. I want to thank you for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed it. you know, I like doing these Between the Frames videos basically just to keep the channel afloat in between my bigger, more kind of complicated stop motion projects. So hopefully you like them too. Let me know what you want to see. I'll try and, you know, make sure that I listen to audience feedback and give you what you want to watch. So if there's anything in particular you want, let me know, leave it in the comments, and, you know, we'll see what I can do for you. And if you want to consider stopping by the Patreon, please do. I will have a episode of JWF Revisited up for free for everybody. Normally that goes into the World Champion tier, which is $10 a month. But I'm going to put a free one up, and it might be up already by the time you're seeing this. I'm not 100% sure what order things are going to happen. But it's basically just to give everybody an idea of what goes on that Patreon tier. Like, if you're watching the JWF Revisited series already, you know what to expect. But if you're somebody who's new, jumping over just to see what it's all about, I invite that. And if you decide to stick around and get into one of the tiers, I would appreciate that. And if you don't want to do the Patreon thing, that's fine too. If you want to just hit thumbs up and leave a comment and share my videos, that's great. That helps me out a lot. You don't even have to do this video. You can leave a thing on any of my other videos. Pick the one that you like best. Share it, put it on your social media, or pull it up on like one of those display model computers they have at like Best Buy or something. Just get online and put on my Captain McKay random videos. Anybody who walks by a computer in Best Buy and sees that plan, they're buying that computer. So if you work at a place like that, just put my stuff on and just watch that cash flow right in. I want to thank you once again for watching. My name is Captain McKay, and we will see you in the next one. Later on.
That's crispy.